All right, good afternoon again, parents. While we wait in the interest of time, because I know for most of you might still be at work. In the interest of time, we are going to have our devotional exercise, and this will be done by Miss Norman. So, Miss Norman, if you would go ahead and lead us in this exercise.
All right. Good afternoon, parents. I pray that you're having a fantastic day thus far. Our theme for this evening is give thanks. Give thanks. And before I go into the scripture, I want you to do something for me. You don't have to unmute your mics or anything of that sort, but I want you to give God thanks for one thing that He has done for you this week or even today. So in the privacy of your home or wherever you are at work, just give God thanks for one thing that He has done this week or today. So the scripture reading is taken from 1 Thessalonians 5, verses 16 to 18, and it reads thus: Rejoice always, pray without ceasing, give thanks in all circumstances, for this is the will. All right, sorry about that. Give thanks in all circumstances, for this is the will of God in Christ Jesus for you. Give thanks to God in every situation. According to recent studies carried out at the University of California by Renee Dickerhoof and Sanja, people who express their gratitude constantly are significantly happier, more satisfied, and have a more positive attitude towards life than those who are not usually thankful and demonstrate it verbally. As you can see, experts in positive psychology emphatically say that being thankful has the power to increase our feelings of happiness and personal well being. It strengthens our relationships with other people as well. In another study done in 2003 by Robert A. Emmons of the University of California and Michael E. McCauley of the University of Miami, the researchers arrived at the conclusion that writing 5 things every day for which we are thankful can increase the level of happiness in people by up to 25%. That percentage is not small. Something as simple as writing down situations that have happened to you during the day, giving thanks for them, and elevating the positive will help your mind feel fuller. I believe that it is worth trying, don't you think? Being thankful for the rain, for the sun, for the wind, for the food on your table, for your family. And for the students, I will say for your parents and guardian, and for the parent and guardian for your children. Even being thankful for how the trials of the day have made you grow and improve is an exercise that brings extraordinary benefits. In current times, when depression, anxiety, and sadness abound, it is well worth the trouble to invest in gratitude. It is not easy to define what gratitude is exactly: an emotion, a virtue, a value, an attitude, a personality trait. What is clear, however, is that it can be worked on. And this is the point that is worth stressing. We can and must change gratitude into a life habit, knowing that it will bring benefits. It has to do with teaching the mind to center on the good that comes our path, being conscious that it comes from God, and expressing gratitude within and without. It has to do with learning to give thanks to God in all we do, in word or deed. I'll repeat the scripture. Rejoice always. Pray without ceasing. In everything give thanks. For this is the will of God in Christ Jesus for you. So the theme is give thanks. And we have so much things to give thanks for. Even if the day is not going the way that we want it, there is something that we can give God thanks for. At this time, I'm asking everyone to just close your eyes. We're going to be praying. Most righteous and loving Father, we are coming to you this evening. We are giving you thanks for another day. We are giving you thanks for life. We're giving you thanks for hope, for peace, for joy. As we commence this meeting, God, we ask you to take charge of the proceedings and to be with us every step of the way. Help us to make well-informed decisions for the future of our students and for our children. May we, as teachers, parents, and different stakeholders, put hands and hearts together to make the dream work. May we keep you at the pinnacle, and may we put you at the helm. Grant us wisdom, God. Grant us knowledge, and be with us in your holy and righteous name. These and other mercies we ask. Amen.
All right. Thank you very, very much, Miss Norman. All right, parents, let me officially welcome you to the third form option meeting. This afternoon we'll be discussing their the choosing of their subjects, their in relation to their career goals and their career path, as well as we'll be looking at the progress report. In the meeting this afternoon, we have our form teachers, Mrs. Ford Bryan, our acting principal. She will be with us shortly, along with Mrs. McDermott, I think. And we also have the guidance counselors. We have Mr. Logan and Ms. Johnson from the guidance department. I don't know if Ms. McDermott is here, but as I said, we'll be discussing the options in relation.
Yes, I am here on the home ec.
Okay, thank you. All right. So we'll be discussing the option sheets. Mr. Logan will be guiding us, guiding you, and I think some students are also here. They too will be guided as to how they are supposed to fill out the form. And you'll be provided with further information in relation to the due date and how and when these forms should be submitted. All right, I think I am going to hand over to Mrs. McDermott.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Ms. Chambers. Good evening, parents. Good evening, students. Good evening, well-wishers. Good evening, teachers who are here. Let me add my share of welcome to you all to this meeting. This is a very important meeting. I'm still waiting on some parents to join us because everybody needs to be informed. Before I go any further, let me apologize for Mrs. Ford Bryan. She is engaged in another meeting, so she will be a bit late in attending this meeting. Oh, you are here now. Okay, all right. So she's actually in. So let me just welcome you, parents. I must say, in the Bible, the story of Mordecai and Esther. And remember when Esther was to go into the queen and Mordecai said to her, you have come to the kingdom for such a time as this. And I would want to say the same to the students here. They have come to Morant Bay High School for such a time as this, because it doesn't matter how we want to fix it up. This is the most important thing in their high school life. That is being prepared for their examination, because this is actually the window to their future, whether they will go on to further studies or whether they will choose a career path straight from high school. But it's very important that you make the right choice. Evening.
Excuse me, Miss McDermott.
Yes.
Miss, I was wondering, my mother is not here right now, Miss. I was wondering if I could record the meeting.
I think Miss Chambers, is it being recorded? Mr. Logan, is it being recorded?
The recording will be shared at the end of the meeting.
All right, so you don't need to record it. Mr. Logan is recording it, okay?
Okay, Miss. Thank you, Miss.
All right then, yes. So I was saying this is a very important aspect of the school life of your child, your ward, and of you who are here, students. And we just want to ask that you make the most of this opportunity. I must say we are all somewhat in a difficult situation now. The whole situation regarding COVID-19 is fluid. We don't know what will happen from one day to the next. But what I have said to the students, I said, you must continue with your studies. This is no excuse for you to put aside or delay things. You must move on because your future is at stake here. So this option meeting is very important. They will select the options that are important to their career, and we want you to guide them, parents. We want you to be a part of this process. All right, so I welcome all of you who are here. Ms. Chambers?
Thank you, Mrs. McDermott. All right. We still want to see you, Mrs. McDermott. Now we are going to move on to our introduction. So I will hand over to, before we do the option, Mr. Logan, we are going to hand over to Mrs. Ford Bryan, who will be doing the introduction of our new vice principal in charge of third form, and then further introductions will be done. Mrs. Ford Bryan.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. I must say to you, I have been in various meetings. So, Ms. Chambers, thank you so much. Mrs. McDermott, thank you so much. I'm just coming out of one meeting, and so I must apologize for not being here at the start, but I must extend my gratitude to all the parents and all the teachers and staff members who made it their priority to be here this afternoon in this meeting. I know that we have been going through a lot as a school, as a year group, as students, as members of staff, as parents. But, you know, I must say to you that you are stronger than you actually think you are, and that you are really overcoming these challenges. For many persons, they are putting their all out in it. And for some, there is a little bit more that you can do. And so I use this opportunity to encourage those persons who are going through some serious challenges to reach out to the form teachers, reach out to the year teacher. Our new year teacher for the third form cohort is Miss Chambers, and we know that she will be doing a fabulous job. Mrs. McDermott has now been promoted to acting vice principal, and because she has been doing such a great job in her previous posts, of course, we see it fit for her to assume these responsibilities now as VP. And I know with the management team that we have at Mark Bay High School, if you reach out to us with your genuine problems, certainly we will try to find a way. The guidance department is ever working. They work morning, noon, and night. They are reaching out in person to parents, to students, use up the resources that we have. Now, this afternoon, we are in our options meeting, and our options meeting is pretty much for parents and students to actually come to an understanding as to where the future lies, where the career plans lie with the students. I just want to appeal to the parents. Oftentimes, we want to select the career path for our children. I am saying to you, please have dialogue and find out exactly what it is that your child wants to do, and try not to impose your dream upon your children. I know that many of us wish that we were the doctors, and we wish we were the lawyers and the physicians and all of these wonderful things. But there are new careers coming on board, and there were careers that have now upgraded themselves. So a lot of research is being put into this. Have the dialogue, have the discussion with the students, see what they want, know where their passions lie, and guide them along the way. That's what we are here to do, guiding them, not to impose certain things upon them. I also want to say that third form year is really a pivotal year. It's a year of either making or breaking yourself, because this is the transition year. So it is very serious times that we are in. Sit down and decide which trajectory you will be heading on, which direction you want to go. Many persons may not make up their minds 100%, but at least they might make up their minds 30 or 35%. At least have something in mind, have a goal in mind, and so that we can work with it. Again, I want to thank you so much for making the effort to be here. I want you to listen to what we have to offer at this time. If you have questions, you can use the raise hand feature that's there. You can type in the chat if you have questions there. But listen to the presentations first and listen to what we are asking you to do. This option process is very important, and it can be very tedious. We are trying our best as an institution to ensure that we equip you with the necessary information so that whether we are in this pandemic or out of this pandemic, our students are ready to be global citizens, well-rounded global citizens. You will not be shortchanged in any way. So wherever the information is, we will try to seek it, and we will provide that information to you. We are asking you to participate, reach out to us so that as partners, we can ensure that our students get everything that they need to get. As our motto says, carpe diem, we will seize all opportunities. Thank you, and enjoy the rest of the meeting.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Sport Brian. All right, parents, we are going to get into the meat of the matter. Mr. Logan will now be doing the presentation on the option sheets. All right.
Good afternoon, teachers who are present. Good afternoon, parents who are present. Good afternoon, students who are present. All right, on your screen, you are to be seeing a document that says Mark Bay High School option sheet 2021. Are you seeing that on the screen? Somebody please respond and let me know.
Yes, Mr. Logan.
Okay, great. All right. So this document, a link will be sent. A link will be posted first of all on the Google Classroom for the students. This document can only be filled out with the MOE school's email address that the student has been provided. Let me repeat that, parents, students, only the MOE school's email address that the student has can be used to fill out the Google Forms. That's one. Number two, each student can only submit this document once. Let me repeat that. The document will only allow for it to be submitted once. So once it's submitted, it cannot be resubmitted. So this is why we're asking that you spend some time, go through the document, look at the options, look at the subjects, have the discussions before the document is actually filled out and submitted. So what I'll be doing, first of all, I'll be going through the instructions as it is and as you will see it when you open the document, when the link is sent to you. And then we're going to go through the options and the questions that are there to be filled out. So the first sentence says, in addition to 4 compulsory subjects, students are asked to choose 4 subjects from the options in the drop-down menus. So that means there are 4 subjects that are compulsory, 4 subjects that every single student has to do. Then the options, there are 4 options that are there that from the list of subjects and in the groups that the students, you and your child will be able to choose among. The first compulsory subject is English language. The second one is mathematics. The third compulsory subject is either EDPM or information technology. So there's a choice there, right? EDPM or information technology. The fourth compulsory subject is going to be a practical subject, and the practical subjects are listed: physical education, art, technical drawing, electrical installation, mechanical engineering, home management, foods, agri-science, clothing, building and furniture technology. They are listed. So these are the 4 sets of subjects that every single student will have to do. The second set of instruction says that all students will choose English language in group 1. I had made some persons co-host. Please assist me with letting some the persons in the room, to admitting some of the persons. Thank you very much. All students will choose English language in group 1, right? When we go down a little bit further on the form, you will see that the subjects are grouped. So there's group 1, group 2, group 3, straight down to group 8. All students will choose English language in group 1. This next instruction, choose a practical subject from group 2. Remember, these are the compulsory sets of subjects. So English language will be chosen in group 1 by all students. A practical subject will be chosen from group 2. If you wish to do an additional practical subject, you may choose this from any other group. This third instruction, students selecting building and furniture technology or mechanical engineering technology in group 2 must select technical drawing in another group. So if your practical subject that you are selecting is building and furniture technology or mechanical engineering technology, and you select this as your practical subject in group 2, then you have to choose technical drawing in another group. Let me repeat that. If you are pursuing building and furniture technology or mechanical engineering technology as your practical subject, then you must do as well technical drawing, and this will be selected in another group. Number 4 says you'll choose mathematics from one of the following groups: group 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or 8. Maths, remember, is another compulsory subject. Choose either EDPM or information technology from any of the other groups, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or 8. Remember, these are also compulsory subjects, EDPM or IT. Number 6 says, students who are desirous of doing additional mathematics must choose additional mathematics in group 5. If you are not selected for the AdMath group, you'll be given regular mathematics to do in group 5. So there is additional mathematics and there is the regular mathematics. If a student is desirous of doing additional maths, then this must be selected in group 5. If you select additional maths and you're not chosen for the class based on the selection criteria, then you'll do regular maths in that group. So if you're selecting additional maths, you do not need to select regular maths in another group. Choose number 7, choose one subject from each of the 4 remaining groups. So you select your 4 compulsory subjects, and then you select your other subjects. Do not select the same subject twice. So if you select IT in group 3, and there's IT in group 8 as well, do not select IT again. All right, so we're going to go through signing up the form. So the first thing it asks for is your name. So I'm going to go ahead and put in my name. It asks for email address. So I'm going to go ahead and put in my MOE Schools email address, which the form will only accept. joel@moeschools.edu.jm. It asks for my parent contact number. So I'll go ahead and put that in. Student contact number. Go ahead and put that in. If the student doesn't have a cell phone, then you can just put the parent contact number in again, or another number that we can use to get you on. All right, gender, male. This is asking now, which third form am I in? I'm in 3M, so I select 3M. Career choice, it's asking for 2 career choices. So my first career choice, I want to be an engineer. And my second career choice, I want to be a teacher. All right. So we're at the subject selection, right?
May I add, Mr. Logan? Students, if you're desirous of being an educator, you need to state exactly which subject area you're interested in. So you could probably put teacher of principles of business, primary educator, primary educator, or the specific subject area that you're interested in, instead of just putting teacher.
Thank you very much for that, Miss Chambers. So we're at the subject selection. Remember, the first instruction number 1 said what? All students will choose English language in group 1. So now I'm at group 1 and I click the drop down menu. English language is there. It's the only subject that's there. So all students will do English language in group 1. What did the instruction say again? Choose a practical subject from group 2. Right? So when you click the drop down menu, there's the list of practical subjects. Now, I'm going to select mechanical engineering technology as my practical subject. If we remember what instruction number 3 said, students selecting building and furniture technology or mechanical engineering technology in group 2 must select technical drawing in another group, all right? So my practical subject is mechanical engineering technology. So that means in one of these other groups, I have to select TD. I have to select technical drawing. So that's my first compulsory subject, English language in group 1. My second compulsory subject, which is my practical subject, that is selected in group 2. Group 3 now, I am looking at the subjects that are offered. And I select information technology in group 3, right? Group 4, I'm looking through again. and I select, all right, let's change this. In group 3, I select technical drawing. In group 4, I select information technology. In group 5, if I wanted to do additional mathematics, I want to be an engineer, right? And I want to do additional mathematics. This is where I would select it in group 5. In group 5. So I would select additional mathematics here. If I'm selected for the AdMath class, then I would do additional mathematics in group 5. If I select additional mathematics here and I am not selected for the AdMath class, then I would have regular mathematics in group 5. So either way, mathematics is still accounted for. Mathematics is still covered. So do I have all of my compulsory subjects? I have English language, I have my practical subject, I have mathematics, and I have IT or EDPM. So I have all my compulsory subjects, and I have technical drawing, which I have to select because I selected mechanical engineering technology. So now I'm filling out the rest of the areas with the subjects that I want to do. So I look through the list, I want to do chemistry, I select chemistry. I look through the list again, I want to do a foreign language, so I select Spanish. And I'm down to this section, so I select EI, Electrical and Electronics Technology. So I have now filled out all 8 subjects that are posted here, right? So all 8 groups are filled out. So I will now revise, look over the list to ensure that everything is correct. My name is correct, my name is spelled correctly, my email address is correct, my parent contact number and my contact number is correct, my gender is correct, the form I'm in is correct, my career choices are correct, and I'm now looking through to see that all the subjects that I wanted to select, they are selected, and all the subjects that should be selected, they are selected. So I have my compulsory subjects, which are English language in group 1, my practical subject in group 2. Because I selected mechanical engineering technology, I also have to do technical drawing. I have IT and I have maths. So all my compulsory subjects are accounted for. Then these are the other subjects that I wanted to pursue. If I look and say, all right, if I don't do Spanish, which other subject could I do? Right? And I wanted to change my option, I would change it. If I wanted to do, let's say I want to do bio instead of EI for whatever reason, I go through the list, ensure that the subjects are there, are selected. Then when I'm through, I press submit. When you submit the form, a copy of the responses will be emailed to the email address that has been provided. So you, maybe a week or 2 weeks from now, you wanted to see which subjects did I select again, or over the summer, you want to read ahead of some of your classes. Then you're able to go back to the email address and you're able to see the subjects that were selected, because a copy of it will be sent to you. So as long as it's submitted, we will receive it and you will receive your copy. I believe that is it. It is now time for questions, concerns, queries. Where am I? All right, questions, concerns, queries. Anyone? Anything that I said was not 100% clear? Anything you want clarity on, there are persons here who are able to answer your questions. So this is the time to ask the questions. You can type it in the chat or you can unmute and go ahead.
Okay, Mr. Logan. My name is Pamela Rodney. I am asking, suppose, for example, the child makes an error. Say, I want to choose bio, but I choose French or so. But when I submit, I realize that the error is there. Can that be corrected?
All right. So first and foremost, we're asking that we try our best to not make any errors. That's the first one, right? So as best as is possible, understanding that we're not perfect, understanding that mistakes are a part of life, we're asking that we try our very best to review and review and review before we submit.
Before, okay.
But in the case of any mistakes, I'm your teacher, I'm thinking to get in contact with the year teacher, and we'll see how that is corrected.
Okay. Because as you have stated, you can always, if whilst filling out the form, say it's just the minute that you're on, like the hour, or say you can break and come back and it is still there.
No, man, as long as you don't submit, it will still be there.
Okay.
It's not timed.
Okay. All right. Thank you, sir.
All right, so somebody's asking in the chat, can the student do math and English in fourth form? And how can they go about doing it? And another question in the chat, when will the result of the subjects chosen be released to see if the student received all the subjects that were chosen? And what if a child wants to do more than 8 subjects? Madam Principal, Madam Year Teacher, Madam Vice Principal.
Okay, first of all, can a student do math and English in fourth form? Not at Morant Bay High School, not as a part of your regular school program. On the other hand, though, we discourage it because when you have one certificate with all of your subjects and your very important math and English, that is better than having several certificates. So you have some student, 1 year it's English, 1 year it's math, and then they will have a certificate with the rest of their subjects. Now, there are times when you might be applying for scholarship, and the fact that you have done all of these in one sitting is a plus for you. So we don't accommodate that within the school, within the normal 4th to 5th form curriculum. We don't accommodate that. However, if you feel that you want to do it, we cannot say to you, don't do it, but we don't encourage it. Also, I must say that those who do math and English, we find that they waste the time when they come to school because we cannot now go ahead and accommodate them for other subjects. So for all those sessions for English and math, many times they simply waste the sessions. So we don't encourage it.
Very good response, Mrs. McDermott, but I also add to that. Adding to that is we are ranked in Jamaica. There is a national ranking that is done with schools, and they rank schools based on the core subjects, and math and English, they are a part of the core subjects. So they rank the schools according to the cohort. So if it is a 5th year group, then they rank the school based on students who would pass 5 subjects, including math and English for their year group. Now, if students decide to do math and English in 4th form, it will not calculate with their year group, which would be their fourth form year group. It will be calculated with the current fifth form cohort. So what we find happening from one year to the next, we are not getting a true picture of the number of students per cohort who would have received 5 subjects, including math and English. And once the ranking is done and the analysis is done, then the ranking and analysis is also incorrect. And this also can contribute to our school not being ranked fairly on the ranking scale for the national ranking. And I will support what Mrs. McDermott just said. Because it is a core subject, we are unable to slip in other subjects for the students to do. And so they tend to waste time because they would have said that they have already done math and English. What we do encourage is that students do subjects that they are not timetabled for. So subjects outside of the 8 subjects that they would have selected based on the option sheet, then they can do those additional subjects and focus on the subjects that they would have placed on the option sheet and take it over the 2-year period. So if, for instance, you have placed all your 8 subjects and you realize that you did not select a social studies and you may need that, or you did not select a POB and you may need that, then of course you can do your POB and do your social studies from 4th form. It will not affect the number of subjects that you would have selected on your option sheet, and you will be fine for 5th form as well. So that is what we do encourage.
Mrs. Ford Bryan, to add also for the English and math parent, remember the government pays for these subjects at the 5th form level, right? So I think I support what Mrs. Ford Bryan is saying, that you focus on other subjects, and the subjects, however, the extra subjects would not be done internally. So I don't know if the Evening Institute is still active, but the extra subjects can be done at an outside institution, or if there's an Evening Institute, then it's the Evening Institute is active, sorry, you can do it there, but it is not something that is done internally. So you're not going to be allowed to do 9 or 10 subjects internally. You're allowed 8 subjects, and the 9th or the 10th subject can be done externally.
We still have the center number for our Evening Institute, and it is still active as we speak. So any extra subject that is required to be done, it can be done through our own Evening Institute, which will be still Morant Bay High School Institute that comes under Morant Bay High School. And we would prefer that you would utilize the services that we would provide.
A parent is asking if we facilitate students sitting CXC at 4th form through the school. Yes, for the AdMath, the students who are doing the additional mathematics, they do regular math CXC at 4th form, and then they move on, they matriculate to AdMath in 5th form. We accommodate students sitting, the students who have chosen AdMath, we accommodate them doing the mathematics at the 4th form level.
Thank you, Ms. Chambers. Only. So 4th formers will not be registered at Morant Bay High School Center to do any other subject than, as Ms. Chambers mentioned, the mathematics. That is those students who are doing both mathematics and AdMath. You will do mathematics in 4th form, and in the 5th form, you will do AdMath. So that is the only time that we will register 4th form students to sit examination at Morant Bay High School Center. But just to mention that, because I think we basically answered the question of somebody was asking, so what if you want to do more than eight subjects? For that, we recommend that you do it at our Morant Bay Institute or outside of the school. But only 8 will be accommodated for the normal school week at Morant Bay High School.
All right. Another question. When parents are asking about when will they know if the student has been given all the subjects that have been selected?
We are trying our best to meet a June deadline because school will close in July. So we are trying our best to meet a June deadline. So tentatively, it is June. A parent asks if the child is doing, for example, chemistry outside, if they have to choose that subject. Remember, if you are doing a subject externally, it's not required that you must do the subject at Morant Bay High School, so you can choose another subject if the child has already done the subject or is already doing the subject externally. We're not forcing you to choose a subject that you have already done.
I'm seeing a question here. What if a student does biology and would like to sit HSB also at the 5th form level, since the syllabus, since both have some similarity? We don't encourage that because it's really one science subject that is required for certain career path. And usually the students who are doing the hardcore sciences, which would be the chemistry and the physics, they are the ones who do the straight biology and not necessarily the HSB. We don't see it as a part of the matriculation for certain career path. And so we would encourage the students not to do biology and HSB, but to select one of the two and do another subject, and to ensure marketability and to be more globally competitive.
Miss Tana Shea Harris, you have your hand up. You may go ahead, Miss.
Okay, good afternoon. I have a bit of issue. Well, I would not say it's an issue, but a question, right? This online schooling, it's somewhat hard and somewhat easy for some children based on how children learn, right? So, for example, a child that will do well in face-to-face class now, right, is doing, let's say, moderate or bad on the online schooling. So that child choose, for example, mathematics for CXC, and the grades aren't so good on the online platform. So that child would not get a chance to do that subject. I'm just using math as an example, not that direct one. That's just my concern.
All right, we will not be focusing on the third form grades. What we'll be focusing on, what we'll be using only, yes, let me use that. We'll be using the first form as well as the first term of second form grades. And we'll also use look at the third form grades, but we'll not be focusing on the third form grades. All right, I see another hand up.
Ms. Chambers, just before you go, let me try and endorse that. We, as an institution and a formal institution, we must have standards and transparency in terms of what we do and how we do things. And while we understand that the pandemic has caused some additional challenges, we are in fact mindful of that. And might I add to that, pretty much all our students in Jamaica are exposed to the pandemic and the challenges that comes with it. So while over the years we would have placed serious emphasis on the third form performance, we understand that some students, more than others, have been at a greater disadvantage, perhaps because of socioeconomic standing, accessibility to internet, to Wi-Fi, to devices, and so on. So of course, we will still be taking into consideration those students who perform despite the challenges of the pandemic, but we will not only be utilizing those grades of the third form, but certainly they will be taken into consideration. We also need to understand that there are certain subject areas that have a, a ceiling, and so it cannot take more than perhaps more than 35 students. And so we will have to find a way to decide which 35 students will be the ones to sit in this class. So we still have to have some standard and some transparency in our selection. So we, as Ms. Chambers said, we definitely will be using their grades from first, second, and third form to make some final decisions.
May I just clarify, please, because I'm seeing two comments in relation to this. Parents, we are not saying to you, you must not allow your students or your child rather to sit math and English. If that is your choice, we are simply making recommendations why we think it is not wise for them to do the math and the English outside of their cohort and their regular subjects that they would have, well, the majority of the subjects that they would have on their certificate. But we are not saying to you and we are not dictating to you that it should not happen. In the long run, you will have to make the choice for your child. Okay, but we are recommending that it be not done. But we cannot force you into doing what it is that you don't want to do or what you think is best for your child. Because I'm seeing where parents are saying and others are saying it would lessen the work they do in fifth form. But I must also add, I have been at Moranchi Bay High School since 1988. And I will tell you that when it comes to lessening the work, what I find is that many students, they work under pressure. And as we mentioned, when they have all of that time to waste, it not only affects the fact that they were not doing math and English, but it affects their other subjects as well. So we're not saying don't. The choice is yours.
All right, Ms. Williams, you may go ahead.
Hi, I'm Lenoir's uncle. I'm just using her computer for the meeting. All right, so I've heard everything that you said so far. I do understand that you're saying that we should, well, it's better if they do the eight subject that they'll choose. But the question I was asking was, um, what if she does straight biology and would also like to sit the exam, not necessarily do it as a subject, but sit HSB, the exam for HSB as well. Would you allow that? Because the syllabus are really similar. I'm not sure if it changed in my time, since my time, because when I sit biology, I did all three sciences, and then I didn't do the course or the subject. I didn't go to a class for HSB because I did straight biology, and it's just the human part of biology that HSB covers, which is a small portion of the biology syllabus. And I was allowed to do HSB, being that I was also performing in my regular biology class. So I'm asking if that's an option to sit the exam if my child is performing.
Okay, I have a question. Would you want to do that HSB as an extra subject and not allow for it to take up the space of another subject that could be done?
Yes, that's what
I
I'm
need
asking.
I need
So
that clarity.
yeah, so if she could do it as a ninth subject instead, being that it doesn't have uh um a SBA, yeah, it doesn't have a SBA, so she'll just sit the exam as well as a ninth subject. So she'll select her 8 subjects here, excluding the HSB, but she would like to sit the exam in fifth form.
Okay, well, it doesn't have a SBA at this point, but I think there are some changes that will come. So we will have to examine situations like those on a case by case basis in terms of class attendance and coverage of content, and see where the child is at to ensure that it does not compromise anything. But at this point where I'm seeing it, I'm seeing HSB as an extra subject, not being taken up in another space where another subject will go. And if it is being done as an extra subject, then that can be accommodated,
Okay, thank you.
but not necessarily. But there are other things that that will have to take bearing where that is concerned. But filling out the form as is now, you will not fill out HSB and POB on that.
Yeah,
HSB and bio on that form. You
yeah,
understand what I'm
yes,
saying?
I do understand that.
All right, very good, very good.
Sorry.
May I also mention too that at Morant Bay High School, students are recommended to sit the subjects. So if your child is attending biology class, that child would have done the SBA for biology and be recommended for biology. The HSB would be done by another teacher, and your child would not be attending that class to be recommended for the subject. So we do it based on a recommendation basis. So
Yes, I
that
know
might
that.
be a problem
However,
too.
as I was saying before, since the biology syllabus is larger than the HSB syllabus, and the biology syllabus also covers what the HSB syllabus does as well.
No, there are
The,
major differences.
no, they aren't. There aren't no major differences between biology and HSB. The
Okay.
only difference is just plant based in biology that you will cover in bio. But majority of the things that you would cover in HSB are all you'll do them in CXC biology.
All right, there's another question asking about if the child is a transferee. Transferee, I'm going to assume that you're thinking of an overseas child and not a local transfer. Because if it's a local transfer, remember the other schools, they do similar or the same subjects as us. So we would focus on those grades. The child would come with a transcript and their reports. If it's an overseas transfer, again, we would focus on their transcripts and their grades received while in those schools. I think, am I correct, Mrs. McDermott?
Go again. I didn't hear you so clearly. The person is a transfer like from abroad.
From abroad, we would still use the report, their reports, because they would have done some of the subjects that we offer here.
Well, yes. I am not. I am trying to think if we have taken in fifth formers except to repeat. Mrs. Ford Bryan, bear me out here. If they are coming from overseas and coming here, we would probably recommend that they start at fourth form where they would start the C6 syllabus. But if they had done fifth form at another school and somehow they were allowed to come here, then in that
No,
case,
that's not the situation. So we're going into fourth form, and the child is 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 um is seeking entrance into fourth form. How do we how do we grade them in accordance to the subjects that they are choosing?
Well, that's the recommendation too that Mrs. McDermott is talking about. Usually we ask that they go back into a third form wherein they can be exposed to all the subject areas and then select accordingly. However, if they are also coming from another school, we can also use their reports. But also remember that some schools, their grading system is different from others. So we pay keen attention to certain subject areas as well as keen attention to the school that the children are coming from. So of course we revert, as you said, Ms. Chambers, we also revert to the past reports that we would have gotten from prior schools. And because we encourage persons not to just go into the fourth form year group, but try to be exposed to all the subjects to do a proper selection. Usually we don't have a problem with persons who are transferring into the school.
All right, and to answer the question about the child doing ADMAT in fifth form, no, you pay for the subject in fourth form. Remember, the government pays for mathematics at the fifth form level, not at the fourth form level. We have another hand, and then we'll move on to the next segment of the meeting. The name of this person, Miss Willis, you can go ahead.
My question is, what if the child did math and English in third form and they passed them? Is that a problem with graduating from the school?
The graduation criteria is that the child needs to get 5 subjects in range 1 and 2. So as long as that criteria, pardon me?
Oh, I get you. I thought they had to have math and English included in the 5 subjects.
No. We endorse math and English in the 5 subject to be promoted to 6th form. But your graduation, right, 5 subjects in range 1 and 2 and 3s as well, as long as those are passed in 5 subjects. Yes.
Okay, got you. Thank you so much.
Answering this question, what if a child doesn't get all the subjects that they choose? Will they get the chance to select other subjects? Certainly, we will give that opportunity. So in a timely fashion, we will produce first listing. Parents and students will ensure that they go through that. If you see where you did not get the subjects that you selected, what we do is that we propose additional subjects, because there are sometimes students and parents don't choose according to the career path, and we might have a little bit more knowledge, so we suggest. So if the subject that we suggest, if you're good with it, then fine. If you want to select another subject within that grouping, then we will peruse, we'll have that discussion, and we will move accordingly.
All right, thank you, Mrs. Forbrand. We're going to move on to the progress report, Mrs. Forbrand.
Okay, concerning the progress report, we did a report for the first time in December of last year, that was 2020, having had the students come in for face-to-face, having had the students come into school for October. So in December, we did what was called a progress report. And the aim of the progress report was actually to see how the students were doing, having been in the confines of virtual teaching and learning. We still had to do some amount of assessment. And so we did not call it end of or mid-year examination. What we did was to ensure that we are assessing the students for October, assess them for November, and then we did a comprehensive assessment under a virtual space for all students for December. An average of all 3 months was done, and the system actually produced an average as to how the child would have performed for the entire term. I must add that some students did very well because they were able to adjust quickly to the online. They would have had their devices, they would have had access to Wi-Fi or to internet, and so they were able to complete their assignments. They were able to do their additional studies and do their additional research. Seeing that we were going through the teething pains, it was there that we found out that there were some students who were in fact going through major challenges, and we started reaching out to parents and students to see how best we could ratify some of the situations that they were going through. Here we sought to get devices to assist some. We were filling out forms to send to the ministry to see how best we can get the necessary equipment for these students. All in all, the assessment was done. It was done not in an effort to know who comes first, who came second, who came third, or so on, but actually to know how far back our students were and what we needed to do for them in the coming January term to ensure that they are somewhat on par with the national standards. So those reports were in fact handed out in January or February of this year. And I do hope that all parents by now would have access to their progress report. If you don't at this point have access to your child's progress report, we are going to ask that you make direct contact with the form teachers so that you can get the password and username, log on to the system so that you can see what those reports look like. For this end of year, we will be doing a similar assessment. And this assessment will be on content covered from January to this June. So the assessment that we will be doing will be taking place in the 2 last weeks of June, again, to see what our students would have accomplished for this term and to gauge ourselves in knowing how are we going to start with them come this September? What are some of the adjustments we are going to make to the curriculum to ensure that at the end of the day, our students are not left behind? So consider these assessments as a way of gauging where we are at and where we want to be. We are still cognizant of the fact that there are some students who are still experiencing grave difficulty, but we are also conscious of the fact that there are some of our students who are not putting out the effort, and we are also conscious that there are some parents who have somewhat gotten tired of the system, and so they can't push anymore. And so we are seeing a significant decline in the number of students who are in fact attending the online classes. So we are conscious of so many things that are happening. Challenges with the internet kicking you off, challenges with your devices freezing, challenges with you not hearing the teacher not hearing you. The teacher, in fact, is also going through the same difficulties. So we are conscious of all of those, but at the end of the day, we have to do some amount of assessment to know where our students are at and how we prepare them for their exams and for exiting this institution. So you can share with us if you have received the assessment online, if you have examined it, or you are having difficulty going online, because what we are doing is we are trying as best as possible to maintain the protocols so printing is not being done. First and foremost, we are utilizing the online platform. That's where we are at with that. Any questions pertaining to the progress reports? Okay, I am seeing a parent saying here, to this date, they can't open the child's report from grade 8. Password is of no use, cannot open the report for 8 nor 9. I would love to ask you if you had reported this to the form teacher, because the person who we currently have working as the systems admin, he is the one who is changing the passwords, adjusting those, sending those back to the form teachers, and the form teachers will pass it on to you. So can you indicate which grade 8, which second form the child was in, the name of the child who is the form teacher, so that we can assist you in seeing what the progress reports look like? It is really unfortunate that you did not get that opportunity. I am seeing Tarnashe Harris. You will have to indicate to us which form it is. And Ms. Chambers, I'm going to ask if you can assist by documenting the form and the name of the child, please. So I am seeing 2T and 3N1. Can I get the name of the child so that Mr. Senior can look into the password, send it back to the form teacher, and you will definitely get a response to that. Mr. Senior is in fact in the meeting at this time. I will use this opportunity to welcome him and tell him thank you for being here. He's the one who is working on the system with us to assist parents and students as well as teachers to ensure that the progress reports are being seen by all stakeholders.
Mrs. Ford-Brand.
Yes, Mrs. McDermott.
Oh, Mr. Houghton will be addressing them now.
Yes, but I'm only seeing 2 questions coming on. Do you want him to explain how is it that they get onto the system? Okay, Mr. Senior, if you are on the floor, you can take these questions, please. How do I correct my daughter's surname? Please let us know what the problem is. Have you gone through the requisite process in terms of getting to the form teacher, Miss? This is coming from Miss Ross. Miss Ross?
Yes, good afternoon.
Yes, Miss Ross.
I have a problem.
To the form teacher about the incorrect spelling of your child's name.
I did mention it to her, and then I went to the office, the main office. It was spelled correctly there. But each time I get the report, it is spelled incorrectly.
So it is actually on the report that it is being spelled incorrectly.
Right.
But on the child's file, it is okay, right?
Okay, right.
Okay, Mr. Senior, can you address that for me, please? What will be the information that you will need now to document and to have that adjusted?
Could you repeat that, please?
Oh, good afternoon. Hello.
Good afternoon, Mr. Senior. There is Miss Ross who is on the line. She's on the call now. saying that at the office her child's name is spelled correctly, but each time she gets the report, the surname is spelled incorrectly. Can you tell her what information you will need to get that corrected once and for all, please? Thank you.
Well, the thing is, as long as she had submitted all the documents that was required at the office, I'm not sure if this information was not related back to me, and it's the reason why the surname is still incorrect. So I would have to get that person name and information so I can go ahead and correct it on the system.
Miss Ross, can you please put your child's name in the chat?
Okay, thank you very much.
So that we can get it corrected right now. You are welcome. I am seeing here.
Mrs. Brian,
yes,
before Mr. Houghton, Mr. Houghton told me a way in which the parent can enter the system without using the child's password. Because what I think is happening is that some children don't want their parents to gain access to the report, because some are sent to class and have not gone to class and have not been doing the assignment, and they are not interested in their parents gaining access. So some of these password not working, it is not true. I reached out to Mr. Senior, and he told me a way in which the parents can enter the system and view the report. Mr. Houghton, could you explain for me, please?
Okay, thank you for that.
Yes, I can. Just give me a second. I will also just do a quick share so I can walk them through the interface, what it looked like. But what I was saying to Miss McDermott is that I think the fault, as she was saying earlier, is with this child not giving the parents the passwords to log in. But it doesn't mean that parents are not able to log in. What you can do is to just go ahead to register your own account for the child, and you can log in with your account instead of trying to get the child's password or the other information as well. So I'm going to share my screen quickly just to show you where you would go online. So you would go to mysschooljamaica.com. Everybody seen my screen, right? Hello?
Yes, I'm seeing it.
From here, you would select the login option to the side right here to your top right. And then you would still proceed to select the school. You can either use the drop down, or you can go ahead to type in this information. And then you go ahead and continue from here. Sure. All right, and still top right, you would select register from the options here. This will allow you again to select the school. As I said, you can always select it from the drop down, or you can go ahead and just start typing the name of the school here. I think this option though, you're not able to do the typing, so you can always go ahead and select it from the drop down. Proceed to fill in the child's information, as well as the date of birth and the form class. This is critical for this as well. And then you would just enter your email address and enter your password, and this would be the password that you would log into the system with. So all you would need from here is the child's student ID number, and if they are not going to give you that, or you want to confirm it, you can always call the general office and we could provide you with that information, as well as you can contact their form teachers. So once you get this information, or once you have registered to the system, you would go ahead and log in with that information by selecting parent from the drop down. and just enter that password that you would have created, and you would be logged in with the student um to the student account. Any question? See in the chat here.
A parent was asking in the chat the name of the site for the report. But this is where you go, My School Jamaica.
I can go ahead and post it in the chat as well.
Right.
Just post it as everyone as well. That was privately done. Any other question? This is from Marie.
Do we take it then that most of the other parents or all the other parents would have already logged on to the system and viewed their reports? Can you indicate by a raise of hand to indicate so that we have an idea as to the number of participants who are in this call, how many persons would have seen their students' report cards? You can go ahead and use the raise, just notify, or in the chat, just say that you have seen, I have seen, so that we have an idea as to how many persons here would have already seen their report cards. Thank you very much for responding. We are still waiting on the others so that we can have a rough idea as to what is happening out there. Okay, one parent is saying, I have it on my phone, one click and I can see it. That's good. Okay, if you have any questions regarding the progress report or to view your reports, you can ask now. If you remember something later, you can place it in the chat and we will attend to it.
Yeah, seeing your message, Miss Blake. As I said, you can always just ask for the, or try to contact the farm teacher for the ID number for the child.
Thank you.
Okay.
Kamal Nicholas is saying that have not seen, but I do hope that you were following the process that was shown by Mr. Senior, and that you are able to go to the site and insert the necessary information so that you can see the information for your child.
And remember here that you need the child's date of birth as well as the farm class the child is in, if you are not going to be able to sign up for the account. So that information has to be correct. So when you do a drop down for the farm class, you will be seeing all the farm classes.
I have a question regarding the report card.
Go ahead.
Okay. My son, even though he was present in a chemistry class, for most of it, I'm seeing where ABS. What is that? Is it that mean absent? I'm taking that to mean absent.
Absent.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
So
yes, miss.
even though he was present, it says absent. So I don't know.
I think you would
Where
have.
on the report card was the absent? Under which month?
Under?
Was it under a particular month or an assessment? Was it under the December assessment that you saw the absent? Where exactly would you have seen the absent?
Not sure. I need to look at my phone to see.
Can you at least tell me the child's name? Let me just quickly check for you, see where it is exactly.
Javed Manning, JAVED MANNING.
Okay, sorry. Just remember what information I'm going to bring up.
While Mr. Senior is doing that, I think I can shed a little light. Absent is indicated if the child did not submit that assignment. And we have pretty much two types of absent: absent with reason and absent without reason. If we know beforehand that the child will be absent for the subject because of medical reasons and our medical certificate is sent in via WhatsApp or in person, then of course we know that that's absent with a reason. For the December assessment, we know that many students were encountering some difficulties. And as a result of that, we had some absent with reason because we know that there was power outages, there was internet connectivity issues, and so on. So we did not want the child to be penalized right across the board. So we would have put absent with reason. Those children who we would have gotten no reason at all from, they know would have absent without reason, and then their overall average would have been affected by them not sitting that subject. So
okay, because I'm seeing, I was thinking more or less that is an assignment. Because I was saying, if you're in class, why is it that it's because it's I'm looking at it now. It's a particular months. So you have October, November, December.
Yeah, I'm seeing it for November and December also. So it's for BDP as well as chemistry and physical education and Spanish.
Oh,
so the assessment was not done.
Oh, the assessment. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
The assessment wasn't done.
All right.
Because remember, the teacher will indicate which assessments they will be using to place on the reports. And if the particular pieces of assignments are not done, then an absent will come up for those assignments.
Okay.
Right.
Now I understand.
And also, Ms. Fulbright, based on the averages here, it seems like it's an absent without reason. So it's definitely calculated in that average.
Right. So if you're going to be absent for a genuine reason, something needs to go reach the teacher in writing. Or if it is for sickness, then of course that needs to reach the form teacher. So whether or not we are in a virtual space, we have to communicate the reasons for absence.
This is good. That's smart.
So, but thank you very much, Miss, for bringing that to the fore so that we could explain that in order for other persons to understand exactly what's happening.
Oh, okay. It's just well, I'm just looking now, and those he did them, but he did them late. because it was some of these assessment I'm seeing now, it was submitted, but the teacher says done late.
Oh. And that's
So is it that okay?
That's a
Well,
problem
he should,
too.
yes, he should have, well, he should have
Explained what the situation is. We know that there are some students who are encountering serious problems, but once they communicate with their teachers, I know that extensions were given because we were explaining to the teachers, we know of the connectivity issues. Extend it a little bit more, let them know that they have an extended time. But there comes a time when we have to cut it off, right?
okay, but I have to work on that one because sometimes I didn't know as a parent then that if, for example, the assignment was supposed to be submitted today and there's a problem with the internet or what, and he didn't get to submit on time, then I should have probably spoken to the teacher to say, well, he was having some issues and he didn't submit on time.
Okay.
So maybe I should have done that if I hadn't, because I didn't
Right.
really understand the system.
Mrs. Ford Bryan,
Yes, miss.
may I say to this parent here and to others
Okay.
that some of the students are very tardy because we have been quite understanding in this COVID period here. When we give tests, we sometimes allow the test to remain there for a short period of time after. And if a student said to a teacher, miss, for whatever reason, I missed the test, maybe connectivity device issue, that child will be allowed to do the test. So some of the students are tardy. They don't wish to do it. I'm having tests, and I'd ask the teacher, send in the group that we're having tests, and students still don't turn up to do their test. So I know that some are using this COVID as excuse, parents. I know that some have genuine problems, and I really sympathize with those who have genuine problems. But parents, I'm going to ask that you open your eyes and don't let them pull scale over your eyes and use COVID as excuse, because that is what some of them are doing. I had to call, I remember last term before the exam, I had to call parents, and parents were shocked to know that their children were not attending my class because they thought, in the case of one boy, he never even accepted the invite. And the parent was saying to me, no, miss, you are wrong. But when she checked, it was true. So please don't let them outsmart you. I'm going to ask that you monitor them, ask them about their classes, and sometimes check on them if you can while they are at class, because some are very tardy.
Good evening. I have a question. When the Google Classroom was introduced to the students, was there an introduction or a tutorial or anything as it relates to how they should manipulate the system, the app and so forth? Was that given to the students?
Yes, there was. First of all, we had a year meeting when it was introduced, and they went through on a step-by-step basis. Mrs. Beckford Coley did a video that the form teachers used, and I can give credit to my form teachers. I can big them up for that. They really assisted the students in manipulating the Google platform. They really helped them. And even when others were, even they were having challenges, they went beyond the call of duty to ensure that the students were on. May I ask,
Okay,
ma'am,
well,
is it that your
well,
child is not, may I ask, is it that your child is not able to manipulate the platform well? Would your child need some assistance?
no, we are fine now, but is recently I learned there was this section in it where you can go and see all the assignments, and what he was using was the messages, and we
Oh,
didn't know. It was somewhere in there that they came in. It's just recently we saw them and quite a few assignments are missing because unless it comes up in the message, they have that's how we usually find the
Okay,
assignments and
that's the
do them.
classroom section. What device is your child
Right.
using?
Well, he's using a Chromebook. Yeah, we were having device issues too, so probably that's why he didn't get the lesson, the introduction lesson or so forth. But we weren't aware of that, and even though I know there are tests on there where he was having issue connecting and he asked the teacher for extension, she gave the extension, but we still didn't have in connection when she gave the extension, and the test still is outstanding or
Okay.
still showing that he didn't do it and it's closed.
If you're having difficulties, please speak with the form teacher. And the form teacher, if the form teacher cannot assist you, then the form teacher will seek help for you. But please encourage your child to ensure that he or she know how to manipulate the system and make use of the assistance that is available.
Well, Mrs. McDermott, let me interject. I know for the first 3 months, myself as a parent and my child, and I know other parents would share the same sentiments as I'm doing. We didn't fully understand the system because I remember even when my son was doing the assessment, he said he submitted the I said exam, he was doing it. He submitted it. But the teacher keeps saying that she
wasn't seeing it.
Right. And then at one point he did another one that the question, he answered the question and then it showed that it was not answered. But there was some hiccup on the system during the October to November period.
Miss Rodney, may I add? You said you as parent and your child. May I add us as teachers as well, because it was new to all of us. So it was a learning experience,
right,
for all of us. All right, but I hope that at this stage, though, that everybody knows how to manipulate the system quite well, and that the challenges and the hiccup that we had before, we are not having them anymore. Or if there's anybody who is still having difficulty, please ensure that you talk to your form teacher about it. You're your teacher, and I am sure Mr. Uton will be quite willing to assist if it goes to that far.
Well, yes, I am a little bit more I'm aware. I'm more affair with the system now. But I know during those times, because I was saying to him, it didn't submit. It submit and says it didn't submit. So how the teacher gonna handle it? I don't know how it was handled. I don't know. But it's a learning process for all of us. So because the only persons who are going to be getting the end of the stick here is our children, So we all have to learn and try to learn and to understand and to get them, more aware of the system. Check to see. I always check to see assignment is placed on the site. When are the deadlines and all of that? I'm getting to know it better now.
Okay. It's good when you
There are
work
some
with
hands that are up, Miss Mark.
Miss, one more question.
As some hands that are up, because there are some hands that have been up for a while. And
is it up for question, Mrs. Ford Bryan, or is it from the time when you asked for the hands to be raised?
No, I'm not certain. Leverage, I'm seeing leverage. I am seeing Carrie Ann Morgan. I'm seeing those hands up. I'm seeing
wow.
Andrea. I am seeing, are those hands up for questions? Or was it when I asked for the hands to be up to see if you would have checked?
Mrs. Forbrand, Mrs. Nelson here.
Okay, the hands are down now. I'm still seeing leverage. No, I'm seeing leverage and carry on.
Hello, Miss Forbrand, you're hearing me?
Yes, I'm hearing you. Can you tell me who is this? Your name, please. Yes, I'm hearing. I'm not hearing anymore.
Can we just
You
ask
know,
all
Mr.
those who put up their hands in response to Mrs. Ford Bryan's question? Can you lower your hands now, please, so that we get a true picture of those who want to ask a question?
Mrs. Ford Bryan, Lisa Nelson.
Hi.
Yes, I
You
want to
can
ask
go
a
ahead.
question.
And
Yes,
then we will take Carrie and Morgan after.
Okay, read the report card. In those time, October, November, December, I'm seeing where my son in geography and Spanish is saying absent. Those time I remember usually when the assessment or the test or activities, you usually have to take the pictures, upload it and send it to the teacher email. I have a problem with that because normally the teacher do not respond to the email saying that noted or anything like that. And I know for a fact that in those times and even up to now, I am making sure that all his assignments and when he's supposed to have exam tests or anything is online because I have my phone and I monitor him and I know when he's online from when he's not. So I don't know how those two absence came in from Spanish and geography. And another question I'm saying, what is assigned mean? Because when I'm looking through what he has sent, you see turning. But there's two other that is saying assigned.
Assigned actually means that the assessment was sent out to the student, but the student has not responded to turn in the assignment. So it is assigned to the student, but it is still not done.
Okay, some of the activities, based on what the activity is asking for, it cannot turn into from Google Docs or Google something or another. You would have to take the picture and send it to the teacher's email.
Well,
So
that is going to be the problem because he can also take the picture and upload it to the very same Google platform through Google Docs. So the pictures can go into his Google Drive, and then from his drive, he attaches it. So again, maybe a process needs to take place wherein your child understands how that is done, because pretty much all assignments can be uploaded through that medium. So it doesn't have to be sent directly to the teacher's email.
But at that time, when we just started it, that is how it was supposed. That is how.
Right, that was one of the alternatives. So if it is not submitted through that means, you are still going to see assigned, but the teacher would have gotten it. And of course, I'm happy that you brought that to my attention, so we can actually say to the teachers to try to make an extra effort if they are still using that alternative to actually say noted, so that persons are aware that it has arrived. Because if it doesn't go through the same process, you're still going to see assigned and not turned in. But as you're explaining now, it would have been turned in or submitted via email.
Right.
So I know that the alternatives were there because we wanted to get the assignments as much as possible. Persons weren't familiar with the entire system in terms of what to do. So it has been a teething pain that we have been going through. But I must tell you, parents, that we have gotten better at it. And we are, in fact, better than most. I must admit to that as it relates to the manipulation of the system. However, we intend to have ongoing training sessions for students, and we will also add some for parents so that everybody can be at a particular pace to be able to manipulate the system much better.
Okay, because there are some activities that they said it can be done in their books, right? Because even like you're making something, because this is saying you can use boxes, circles, appropriate shapes and such. That I'm saying,
And
the
then
teacher is going to
and then
know that
take the
this is
picture,
done.
right?
Well, I guess
And then
so.
take the picture, isn't that so?
I think so.
Right. And once you take the picture can be uploaded to the Google platform and sent right into the teacher.
Okay, then.
So it is a
Thank
matter
you.
of learning the process. So now that we know that that's a challenge, we will say to our teachers, don't take it for granted that everybody knows how to take a picture, upload it to the Google Drive, and then pull it from there and attach it and send it off to the teachers.
Okay, thanks.
So we'll be going through that process. You are welcome. I'm seeing high phone, Charmaine. Your hand is up. Do you want to say something quickly? Not hearing. I'm seeing Andrea. Your hand is up. Do you want to say something?
Good evening, Mrs. Ford Brown.
Oh, okay.
Good evening.
Go ahead. Good evening.
I want to congratulate the teachers that teach my daughter, because unlike most other parents who are complaining that their children don't have classes, my daughter have her classes in the days. So I want to congratulate her teachers, and her name is Rishona McCleary. However, the problem that I'm having is that on the progress report for Spanish, she got a 36% grade, and I'm not comfortable with it. And I know that she has done all the work and she has submitted all of them. I heard Mr. Ferran explaining to them that sometimes the grades are loaded incorrectly based on how they were loaded. And I'm loading that report every day to see if the grade will change, and it has not changed. And she has never gotten a grade like that.
Miss, I wasn't hearing exactly what you were saying. I know you were concerned about the Spanish, and you're not comfortable with that 36%. Did you by
Because she
any
has never
chance
gotten a grade like that.
did you by any chance reach out to the Spanish teacher to see if there was an error?
I am not able to get through to Mr. Bravo because it was Mr. Bravo at the time.
And you did express this to the form teacher, because if you were unable to reach out to Mr. Bravo, the HOD would have been Miss Archer, and she certainly could have assisted. So did you reach out to the form teacher so that that message could have reached the head of the department so that it could have been addressed?
Mrs. Ford Brown, I'm not able to get through. And because of this
Who is the
COVID thing,
form
I'm not
teacher, Miss? Who is the form teacher?
Miss Thompson.
I'm trying to
Miss
explain
Thompson.
to you what some of the chain of command is. If you're calling one person, you're not getting through. Then if you call another who is the form teacher, then we can divert and reach someone else. So I am just trying to show you the different avenues or alternatives that we can take.
Okay.
Can you tell me who the form teacher is?
Miss Thompson.
Miss Thompson. Did you communicate this with Miss Thompson?
No, I haven't, because I'm not able to get through, and I normally get through to Miss Thompson easily.
Mm-hmm. Is Miss Thompson in this meeting? Can anyone confirm if Miss Thompson is in this meeting now? Miss Chambers, can you confirm if Miss Thompson is in this meeting? I'm not certain.
I'm not seeing her. But Mrs. Ford Bryan, in the interest of time,
yeah,
can we ask that Miss Chambers the questions be directed at Ms. Chambers.
Okay. All right. What we will do, seeing that we are providing some alternatives, I know that during this time it's very difficult to get some teachers on phones because parents are calling while they are in classes. Outside of classes, I know that the teachers are really taking some late night calls. But as I said before, if you are calling the direct subject teacher and you are not getting through, please contact the form teachers and they will try a way to get the information to the respective persons. I'm asking you to be patient. Please understand too that the progress report that we did last term, it was in fact the first that Mark Bay High School was doing something of that nature. And while we were going through the process, we were learning the system ourselves. But we had to do it because we know that it is something that will become a norm. So we had to do it. The fact of the matter is, some parents would have contacted some teachers, some errors were made, some errors were corrected. Some persons are still experiencing those errors, and we are still trying to ensure that everybody is actually satisfied. So again, Miss Andrea, I have documented for Miss Thompson, but if there are other persons who are experiencing the same thing, please get in contact with your form teachers, let them know exactly what is happening, and don't leave this meeting saying that Morant, and I'm just using this as an example, saying that Morant Bay High School is the worst, because I know of a fact, and many of us know of a fact, that that is not so. We are trying our best to meet everybody halfway. So I do appreciate your patience, but I'm also giving you an alternative. If you are trying to reach a particular teacher and you can't, please ensure, try and get in contact with the form teachers and we will try to remedy the situation. Thank you.
Excuse me, miss. Miss.
Go ahead, Ashana.
Miss, about Thursdays and Fridays, miss. Miss, sometimes we don't have class, not today, we have at least 2 classes today, but other times, miss, sometimes, I know guidance work, miss, because sometimes guidance is working and sometimes it's not coming on, sometimes it's not really working. Miss, but on Thursdays and Fridays, miss, we already have classes on that day, miss. On Fridays, we only have 1 class, miss. Miss, and it's mad, miss. Miss, my mother says she getting worried, miss.
Ashana, which form are you in again?
Miss 3M, miss.
3M. Parents who are here from Form 3M, I must say we have been having some concerns about that class, Mrs. Fordbrand. In particular, I think it's 3M1. There are non-attendance at class at times. Yes. In particular, the visual arts class and 1 and 2 other classes. So we are having a challenge there. I know the parents were contacted individually, and based on what I'm seeing in the teacher group, that is not working quite well. So Mrs. Fordbrand, we probably, Ms. Chambers, I don't know if you have gotten any complaints since you take up office as 3rd form year supervisor, Ms. Chambers. Well, I think maybe we need to plan an intervention for 3M. And of course, to look into the reason why they are not having classes.
Miss.
Yes, Ashana.
Miss, sometimes it's not us students, no, miss, sometimes The link, miss, they're not working, miss, because BDP, miss, we only have BDP class, miss. One or two time we have BDP classes, miss. Miss, so sometimes it's really not the children, then, miss.
Not the children's fault. Okay. We will look into it, Ashana. Okay? We will have to look into 3M.
Okay, miss.
Is Miss Chambers on the platform or she got kicked off? Miss Chambers? All right, look as if Miss Chambers got kicked off. So Mrs. Ford Bryan, we have to finish up and close off the meeting. Don't know if she'll get back on. All right, I think I'm next though, so I will just move on.
Okay, no problem.
Yes. Now, my task was to mention some of the challenges in the year that is before the 15th of April. Now, the main one that I want to mention here is the fact that many students register in their classes in the mornings, but they do not attend their regular subject classes. Somebody said to me, students will register because they don't want to lose the path benefit, some of them. But I'm going to appeal to you parents, please encourage your children to attend the classes. Remember, they will have to do their tests, their monthly tests, and their other assessments. And these are very important. So please encourage them to attend the classes. All right, the same thing with the punctuality. Students are late in coming to classes, and when I talk, I speak from experience. 10, 15, sometimes 20 minutes. We are aware of the difficulties that some have with connectivity, devices, and all of that. What we are going to be asking, please, even though you are online students, try and develop a punctual habit. Now, since April the 15th, a new home economics teacher has been assigned to R, M, A, and T. And some of you have not been observing the change in the timetable and attending your classes. Parents, I'm reaching out to you. The home economics classes was changed for T, R, A. T, M, and A. R remains the same on a Wednesday. Those three classes are on a Thursday. Please ensure that the students attend the home economics classes. The teacher reported to me this morning that she had M, and there were very few students in the classes. So can I please, parents, ask you to assist us in that way? And students, I'm appealing to you. Attend your classes. There are going to be times when you will have the difficulties and cannot, but when you can, please attend your classes. All right. Now, in terms of guidance, I am going to be asking parents to please speak to your children. We have had an inappropriate display in the third year group, pornographic material, inappropriate content and picture. When that happens, we reach out to the parents, but please give your child a little talk on online etiquette, please. Can I ask that of you, please, parents? All right. Even in the picture that they put there for their profile picture with some of them, we ask them to put a picture in their uniform. Some, for whatever reason, refuse, and they have all sorts of weird pictures there. Please address the matter of online etiquette. Some of them really need help in that area. All right, the other task that I have to do is to give you an idea of CXC fees, CSEC fees. Now, please note that CSEC does not begin in fifth form. You are laying a base in third form, and that's why we are encouraging them to go to their classes. The base is being laid now, and of course, the building is going to start in fourth form. The minute you go to fourth form, you are going to begin your CSEC syllabus. Please note that recommendations are based not on fifth form work, but on your fourth form work mainly. So students, don't sit down and wait and say, when I get to fifth form. You need to start the minute you enter fourth form. And there's another reason why I'm going to encourage you to work consistently and do your best from the minute you enter fourth form, and that is to make sure that you get as many subsidy as possible. Now, let me just give you an idea of this year's fee. Now, with our dollar sliding as it is, we know next year it is going to be much more. But for this year, the entry fee was $4,870. Now, everybody must pay the entry fee. If it's one subject, you must pay the entry fee. And if it's 8 subjects, you have to pay the entry fee. Then, each subject, the fee was $3,880. Now, that's the basic fee that you will pay for every subject that you do. But in addition to that, there are additional fees, whether it's a practical or an oral subject. So the languages, French, Spanish, you would pay $1,750 in addition to the $3,880. Now, whereas the fees themselves might change, not might, but will change, but the principle will apply just the same way. So you'll pay the basic subject fee and you'll pay other fees depending on the category of subject you are doing. So if it's language, French and Spanish, it's $1,750. Now, if it's the home practicals, foods, management, clothing, you pay $1,420 in addition to the subject fee. If it is music, well, we're not doing music, so I don't need to tell you that. But if it's PE and sports, you'll pay $3,040 in addition to the subject fee. Now, I just did a rough calculation here, and I said, well, if a student was recommended for all 8 subjects, including 1 language, 2 home practicals, that student's total would be $40,500. That is based on this year's fee. So it would be a bit different for you for next year. It would be more. But this is where your child can help you out, parents. Students, this is where you need to help out your parents. Now, we have a number of subsidy here. We have the MOE subsidy, and that is awarded to students who over the course of their 4th form have an average of 55% or over in the following subjects: math, English, IT, science. So if your child during the 4th form year got an average of 55 in these subjects, the Ministry of Education will pay for the subject. Also, there's a JPS subsidy. Young men who are doing electrical, if your score is, that one is not 55, I think it's 80. Mrs. Forban, I think it's 80. If your average is 80 for that period, you qualify for
For which one is that?
the
For
JPS.
the JPS?
Yes.
Yes, I think it's about there.
Yes. And of course, there's the NCB subsidy. You have to have average of 80%. So you can help your parents, children. They don't have to fork out all of that money to pay. And parents, I'm going to ask you to encourage your children. This is the time you have to make sure that they do the assignments, because the assignments will count. It's what we're going to be averaging in order to arrive at the subsidy. All right. Now, those of you who are on path, you can pay $0, because if you work hard and you average over 55 in your subjects, I think it's up to 7, either 7 or 8, or I think it's 8. I think it's either 7 or 8 subjects. PATH will pay for those subjects. So a child doing 8 subjects, 2 practicals, one language, if that child works diligently throughout the year, that parent, you can end up paying very little of that $40,000. And I know how it is at this time here with COVID causing some of you to lose your jobs and to be taking cuts in your wages. I know every cent counts. So I'm going to ask of you parents, work with your children for 4th form so that at the end they can benefit from as many subsidy as possible. All right, so let me encourage you, students who are here, work hard. It starts in your mind. So from right now, you have to tell yourself that you are going to be working hard. You are going to be doing those subjects that you choose, those subjects that you like, those subjects that you need for your career. That should be the motivation for you to do your best. And I encourage you to always do your best. Okay? That, I think, has brought us to the end of our meeting. Yes, it was a very long meeting. I do hope it was worthwhile to those of you who are here. I do hope that you learned something from the meeting. And parents, we just want to say thank you for your support over the years. And we ask for your continued support, especially at this time as they go into 4th form. This is not the time for you to leave them on their own, saying that yes, they are maturing or they have matured. They still need you to hold their hand and to be there with them. I am really praying for you, 3rd formers and 3rd form parents, that things will get better and we can go back to normal or near normal as possible. Because I know, and from hearing the students, I know that some of them are getting discouraged at being at home for so long. But students, parents, take hope. We do believe that better days are ahead, and we look forward to those better days. But while we wait, let us all make sure that we give it our best shot. Parents, students, teachers, Mrs. Fort Bryan, We thank you all for being at this meeting this evening. And we do hope that it will be a productive one, as we will see in the options. Oh, I need to tell you, students, we won't be accommodating your frequent changes.
No, it's not in.
We won't be accommodating your frequent changes. So please ensure that you discuss with your parents and you make sure that when you make your mark, it is what both of you want. Guided by your parents, it is what you want, guided by your parents. All right? So thank you very much for being here. Mrs. Ford Bryan, any final word?
Mrs. McDermott?
Yes.
Good afternoon, Mrs. Basco. I came in the meeting. Yes, I came in the meeting very late. Let me say good afternoon to all the parents, for all of us, but I'm just encouraging parents to try and understand the system, because I know our children, they like to pull over our eyes. So it is very important for us to try and system. What I also want to find out, Mrs. McDermott, if the third form rep was selected, parent rep. Oh, okay, beautiful. Thank you.
Okay, you got the answer? You got the answer, Mrs. Basco?
Oh, Miss Mac, I think when you answered yes, she thought that you meant yes to the question. But Miss Basco, no, the third form rep was not selected in this meeting. A third form rep is not selected. So for those persons who are not aware, Mrs. Basco is our new PTA president. And so she is actually ensuring that each year group has a representative. And so she is asking if the third form year group currently has a PTA representative to sit on the executive body. Ms. Ma.
Okay, that will be done from the PTA level. Mrs. Basco?
Because we had asked, and I think Mrs. Ford Bryan said that we could do it at when we have the grade level meeting. So I'm just asking if it could be done. I know the meeting is very long, it's a very long one. So, and since all the parents are here, I am just wondering if it could be done at this level.
Okay, Ms. Basco, let me just add to that. Well, we only have 50 parents here, but the plan is to meet with the year coordinators, and before the term or before we are even reaching towards the ending of the term, we will have some additional year meetings, which will be perhaps a week of some brief stints of meetings. So we are, as I said to you, we are now focusing on the SBAs coming in, which is really tedious at this point, and we have a deadline working with that we are really pumping towards. So as soon as we get this week and into next week out of the way, then we will plan those meetings and we will definitely have the year reps being selected. But at this point, we are working with the fluidity of CXC and the ministry and overseas exam, and our deadlines that we are working with are changing every now and then, and we want our students to get the best benefit out of everything. So we are really focusing on that right now. So Ms. Basco, we definitely know the importance of the year rep, and we will get that done for you in short order. But we really can't do it in this meeting right now because we have been going over in hours right now.
Okay, understood, Mrs. Ford Bryan and
Thank you
Ms.
so much.
McDermott. You're welcome.
Ms. McDermott, can you tell us again when we will be sending out the option sheets for the selection process to begin? I think.
Hold on a little, there is noise on the outside. I'm not hearing. Yes, go again, Mrs. Ford Bryan.
When again will we be sending out now? And we will have the meeting today, and we are planning on sending out the option sheet by tomorrow.
tomorrow.
Right.
And we are giving parents 1 week. So by next week, by Monday of the following week, they should be in. So they'll go out tomorrow. We give 1 week. They should be in by the Monday of the following week. What date would that be? The earlier we get them in, parents, is the earlier we can do the tally, and then you will know of the offerings for your students and your children. So as early as possible, let us have them in. All right, thank you very much. You have been patient. You have been very cooperative parents, and we thank you very much for that. And we ask for your continued support.
Thank you so much, Mrs. McDermott. And in the absence of Ms. Chambers, your new year coordinator, I want to say thank you on her behalf as well. And let us continue to partner. We know that the road is rocky, but we know at the end of the day, we will be victorious because we are going to do this together. So we don't want to encourage the negative vibe. Let us all be as positive as we possibly can be. And remember, if you are having a challenge, there is no need for you to sit in the corner and complain. Reach out. We are here for you. This is a partnership, and none of our students will be left behind. So have a grand day and rest of the week, and reach out to your form teachers if you need assistance with the option sheets. We are here to answer all your questions.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Have a nice day.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Good night, everyone.
Bye-bye. Miss Chambers, you came back.
Yes, miss, it's going in and out, in and out.
So we realize
it's in and out, in and out.
We figured that, Ms. Chambers, we figured that it wasn't working. We have seen where you're coming in and going out, but we managed to complete the meeting.
Yes, thank you
Yes.
very much. I was very excited for it though. The internet worked again today.
It will get better. It will get better. Right.
All right, we will have fun.
Thank you so much, Senior, for being here with us.
Yes, miss, you're welcome.
Oh, really? No, I know what it is.